What is going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. We're going to get this thing started. Bear with me 2 seconds. Let me just pull this up. And awesome. Okay. So how is everybody? Hopefully, especially those that celebrated the US holiday last week. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday. I know I did. It was pretty good. Getting into this week, it is the final month of the year, final month of the quarter. We have NFP week starting this week. It's already kind of started out to be pretty nice, the price action. And, if you guys haven't incorporated checking the news, definitely take a look at it. Especially if you're in the US, that there's a ton of testimony going on Capitol Hill this week between both the Federal Reserve Chairman, old Jay Powell, and the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. So that for me is going to be causing some really good volatility in the US dollar crosses across the majors. So with that, I've kind of identified some of the areas that I'm going to be looking for some of these plays. I'm going to be, in particular today, GU gave me a pretty decent move for a Tuesday. So was able to capitalize on that. And of course, Friday leads us into both the Canadian dollar and the US dollar NFP week. So it's the jobs reports coming out for both the Canadian dollar and the US dollar. So with that, I'm hoping for some continuation plays on some of the Canadian pairs that I've been kind of watching and isolating, as well as some of these US dollar crosses. Outside of that, I really don't see a lot of volatility across anything else. We may see a couple little spikes here and there when it comes to some of the euro pairs, just because of the dollar influence on the euro. But outside of that, I really don't see much going on with anything else. So all eyes are going to be on the majors this week. All right. So with that in mind, kind of go and let's dive into some of the charts. If you guys know, I typically like to go through what I'm looking at, and if you guys have anything, I'll throw some of my eyes on what you guys are looking at. First and foremost, just to kind of touch base, nothing's really changed for me on Chef JPY. I've just been still holding that sucker for, it feels like forever. We are getting pretty close to the areas where I'm going to be looking for buys. Now we have traded into an area of demand, right? This reaccumulation, and you could see that we did tap into that yesterday. One of the key things I'm looking at is for me to get involved in Chef JPY from this area, this needs to be taken. So we need a trade above that. I'm not too, I'll be honest, I'm not favoring that at all. I don't want to play out of an Asian low. This was Asian price action down here. So I'm not very interested in playing out of it. I will, essentially just be waiting to see what happens going forward, but I'm anticipating continuation down. All right. I'm expecting, whether or not we do it tonight or tomorrow, I'm expecting this to keep trading lower. And as such, I'll just be waiting for it. Be waiting for what Chef JPY is going to give me. On Euro GBP, so I know a lot of people were able to capitalize on the hedge position out of the buy down here. Good job with it. It's running some pretty good. How can you get the Asian session highlighted like yours? So you can just look up sessions on chart. That's the indicator that I know a lot of people use. Where is it at? Right here. Sessions on chart. And then you can just set up however the times and stuff you want. I personally I created my own like little indicator, but I can't share it. It's for some reason TradingView doesn't let me share it. So, but anyway, the hedge position out of here, really good play. I think it was last Monday actually was the big entry coming out of Frankfurt session. Yeah, it was right in here. Really good price action, really nice accumulation. We saw that manipulation, the break, and then price coming back, reaccumulating itself inside of that price action. So I know a lot of people are in it. Sadly, I was not on the charts on that Monday. So unfortunately, I am not in this trade. And every place thereafter, I was looking for re-entries, just price never came back in. You know, I was looking, this was the key area. I was looking here. We never came back to it. You know, was looking in here. We just never came back to it. So at this point, the hedge for me is kind of done until we figure out what we're doing when we get up into the structure points. So I am still holding, personally, I'm still holding 2 orders. I'm holding the 1 order from way back here in September. I'm holding the 1 order over here from the beginning of November for the sells. And now it's just a matter of waiting for price to come into the area where I'm looking. And I'm specifically looking pretty much right in here. All right, that's the area I'm looking at for sells. So this was the last, this area right here, this box was the last area that needs to be essentially mitigated out of this redistribution. So at any point, you know, within this week, if I see evidence of price distributing, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on them. Do I have more lessons on Wyckoff? No, I mean, yeah, I really don't do a lot as far as like teaching on like on YouTube with it. So yeah. And case studies? No, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I have my own case studies, but yeah, that's just for my own, you know, personal stuff. So anyway, yeah, so the distribution, that's what I'm going to be waiting on. I would really appreciate a distro in here. It did give a little distro this morning. You know, I was kind of tracking it. It just never really gave me one. You know, I'm not very eager on Mondays and Tuesdays to get into trades. You know, my journal, and I've talked about this in the past, you know, my journal tells me just to be very selective. So my eyes were on GU this morning, but you can see it started to give a decent distribution and then it just fell apart. You know, once you had this push right here, you failed to really do anything afterwards. Price kind of just lingered around, kind of ended up reaccumulating. And then from there, you know, we saw this massive push down during some pound news that came out. So I was actually looking in this area here, and it gave a decent attempt at a distribution, but for me, nothing I want to play. You know, you could see on the 15-second, pretty much this is what I was looking at, right? You have your schematic, and then once you got the UTAD, you never got the break. So once we start getting price action like this, yeah, for me, that's a no-go, especially on a Tuesday early in the week. I'll just wait. I'll wait it out. And eventually this ends up, you know, taking the high and trading higher. So Euro GBP, I'm still just eagerly waiting, you know, just as soon as we get up, probably tomorrow, in that London crossover into New York, is where I'll be looking for some evidence of supply coming back into the market, mitigating out of what happened to the left. Essentially what I'm looking at again is going to be this move right here. All right, so that's what I'm waiting on EG. EU, listen, EU has just been really great. You know, I'm continuing to hold sells. You know, I'm holding sells from way back here. I'm still waiting to see what we do. Remember, this is our leg, right? This is our leg. So I'm still waiting to see if we can get up into some more premium pricing so that I could sell this sucker. And if I can do that, great. You know, unfortunately, today I was looking at EU and GU. GU definitely was the cleaner pair, so I traded GU. The sell hit. Yeah, but where were you selling out of? What were you trying to sell out of? Yeah, because for me, I mean, the only thing like this here just isn't something I wanted to play out of. Yeah, that's not something I want to play out of. GU, on the other hand, GU was the super clean one. So nothing about this price action really gave me anything to say, let me get into a trade. You know, now GU, on the other hand, GU gave it. You know, obviously you could just see that we've just been walking this down Last week gave really, really good price action out of here to push this down. And you can kind of see what price is doing, the spike in EU gave a clean reaction out of Frankfurt, really? Yeah, but you talk about this. Yeah, but what's your stop loss? Like, what's your play? I mean, if you're covering this all the way down to that. %50 of the fib. Yeah, but there's nothing to play on it. What are you playing? Yeah, what are you playing out of? Here's Frankfurt. I mean, what exactly in all of this price action, what is that? Right? I mean, for me, it's nothing. It's not something I'm gonna put risk on. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Send it. I'll look at it. Yeah. Yeah. No. GU for me was the play. I definitely was looking to take. We were identifying exactly what was going on to the left. Essentially, you could see that price was just redistributing, and as price gave these redistributions, it was properly mitigating out of itself. So when we saw, bear with me here, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Does anyone in IAM teach Wyckoff? Yeah, Zach McDonald does. Yep. All right, sorry guys. I had to put my AC down. All right, so the area I was looking at was right in here. This is what I wanted to see us mitigate out of this push right here, because you could kind of see what we were doing. It was just constant redistributions. You get your Frankfurt session, you get the break, you come back into 50. Ultimately, what I wanted to see was this be mitigated out of. So yeah. I've heard his content's really good, man. Absolutely. Yeah. So as we came into this area, this is what I wanted to see. I was looking for us to trade into that area, and you could see this morning during New York. I actually don't know somebody, because I wasn't even paying attention to it until we got on the Zoom call this morning. But it gave a really, really super clean type 1 distribution. So yeah, I mean, there's your distro. You could see my blue line is the 50% of that price action. And here it was, super clean distribution, gave us the break, gave us an attempted redistribution here. And where I was looking, I wanted to see price, what it did when it came back in here. I was looking for a distribution, but I did throw a small little order on and you could see the 80% of the UTAD with the stop loss just above this high. Because that would have made it worth it. The 50% definitely not worth it. But the 80% was like a 2.5 pip stop. So, measuring your UTAD, which is this move right here, that's what I was looking to play out of. And I was looking, if we came back into this price action here, the redistribution, I wanted to see a schematic in here to take it lower. So as price came in during New York session today, you could see, I mean, beautiful market cycle. You've got your accumulation, you got your reaccumulation, and then ultimately price comes and within like a pip. So my entry was right here at the UTAD, 80% of the UTAD. That's what I missed the entry by. And as price then breaks order flow, essentially what I did, I just measured my move. Measure the move, had an order off the 50, had an order off the 80, split the risk. The 50 order gets activated, the 80, not so much. So it sucked because I was only in a really small order on this, but it was a very quick 150 pips very quickly. So I did like the move, and then ultimately what did it do? It just redistributed. right? You could see your attempted accumulation, you could see your creek, and now what I'll be looking for is continuation plays out of here. Let price come back into this for us to get another push down. Let's see what you got, bro. Hold on. One of the many Frankfurt backtests I've been looking at. Yeah, so what do? Just cover the Frankfurt low. And what's the win rate and what's the R to R on it? Because I would venture to say, I mean, I'm curious. Yeah, let me know, Tim, how it goes. Let me know how when you backtest all of these, how it goes. I mean, obviously on GU, you would have taken the loss. I guess the question would be, yeah, I don't know if it would be. Yeah, I'll let you let me know. Yeah, if it's something worth backtesting, I'll definitely join in. Yeah. Playing out of Frankfurt and avoiding Asian price action. I got you. Okay. All right. Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I know he's got his stuff together, man. He's a really good trader. So anyway, yeah, on GU for me, like this is clean price action. Now keep in mind where we are to the left, right? This is the area that I was looking for buys to hedge, right? Simply because I'm still holding sells, I'm still holding 2 orders on sells. And, right now, I mean, if you want to call this a terminal shakeout, you can. I mean, that's a significant move and it's a significant structure break, or not structure break, but order flow break, pretty much essentially taking out any weak-handed buyers. So for me to get into any kind of buys on GU, I mean, at the minimum, we need to break this high right here. We need to do something like that. So structure's bearish, order flow's bearish. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing is tomorrow morning, I'll be looking for, and you can already see like my area to look for the sell is going to be out of this, and I'll do the same thing. Wait for the distro, play the distro, follow the order flow lower. And, ideally that's what I want to kind of play into. EU, like I said, EU for me wasn't as clean coming into it. You really didn't see the distribution, what you got here, and then ultimately violating that, making the high, wasn't something that really gave me a lot of confluence. And then, like I said, for an early in the week, a Tuesday, that distribution there really doesn't give me anything that I want to play out of, where GU did. GU actually played it pretty nicely. So the overall schematic in itself, the sign of weakness, the market cycle, the accumulation, reaccumulation coming back into, and then for me, it was just a simple play, set the limit order here. If it trades above here, I know I was wrong. I'll take the small loss, no big deal. But the risk to reward, even on the small amount that I did get into the trade on, was still a decent, a nice little bag that I secured for a Tuesday to start the week off and the month. So that's GU. NZD CAD, listen, for those that survived NZD CAD, because I know there's a lot that didn't, for those that survived it, I mean, we saw a 1 to 86 when price came into these lows. I was looking for a hedge. I'm going to be continuing to look for sells on NZD CAD. I'll tell you this, I was looking at this for a hedge this morning, and you can kind of see what happened, right? Like you could see the accumulation, you could see the attempted distro, here's your distro, here's your creek. So when we break this high right here, well, this is from a market cycle, everybody should be able to see that as an accumulation. You should be able to see this as a reaccumulation. So I was actually looking in here. I wanted to see if price could give me a hedge opportunity. And this is where I was looking. I was looking right in here. So I took 50% of this last move right in here. We had a little bit of imbalance. You could see on the seconds time frame. If you don't have the seconds time frame, you should be able to see 1, 2, 3, and then there's your spring, right? So I was looking for an entry out of there. News came out today, and unfortunately, it just was way shy of it. So I was looking for a little hedge on it. I mean, this wasn't even close. This was, yeah, I mean, it was 3 pips. So it was a little bummer. Just to point out, what do you mean? What played out of Frankfurt? Go to the 15-minute. Okay. What am I looking at? This accumulation. Yeah, but not so much this one. Yeah, that's I guess my question is that, like, when you, whoever's going to backtest it, figure out what the, just figure out what it's I guess what the win rate is. You know, I definitely take Frankfurt price action into account into my trading. But it's not enough for me to set limit orders. So that's the one thing. Yeah. But if the backtesting proves otherwise, you know, absolutely, I'll adapt to it. Yeah, 100%. So, but this is what I was looking at, you know, and at this point here, the buy hedge is done for me. I'm just going to be waiting. And the two areas, the first area I'm going to be looking at is this news candle right here. This was last week's NZD news during Asian price action. I will be looking to see if we get into that area. I want to see a schematic. There's not going to be, obviously there's not a limit order I'm going to play, but I will play a schematic out of news. You know, news is the manipulation, and you can see it. Super, super clean price action. What did this news do? It took out all your weak-handed buyers. I'm sorry, weak-handed sellers. So, and out of that, you know, this is going to be my main focus. My very first primary area that I'm going to be looking for is going to be in this box. So we get something into this area here, and that's where I'm going to be really focusing in on. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be the first area that I'm going to be focusing in on for continuation plays on NZD CAD. All right. You know, nothing about the price action on it is indicating anything but weakness on this. So I'm going to be looking to continue this. Obviously, I want to target this low is my primary target. Secondary target is going to be taking out this low over here. So this is going to be my secondary target. And then I want to get into this price action down here. That's what I want to get into. Yeah. So that's going to be my main focus. All right. On NZD CAD. And then the only other thing that I'm holding is silver, right? You know, I know we were looking at silver last week, gave a pretty decent entry. You know, you can see, where do I have the markings? There you go. So you could see the clean distro. And then coming in, we had a micro distro in that. My actual entry got popped right at Frankfurt Open, which was perfect. So coming out of a lower time frame distribution here, this was the entry, and you could just see that we've just sold off ever since. So I've partialed out. I'm actually only holding, I think, 25% volume of my original order. I took it at a 1 to 44 is where I secured my last order or my last partials. And I'm just going to continue to hold this, you know, higher time frame. You could see what I'm going to be looking at. I want to see us now take this low. My alert's sitting here. Once we take that low, I'm going to be looking for continuation plays. I'll be looking for price to give me a pullback, and then take this lower. Overall, my target is around like the $16 mark, right? This is my target. to get down into this right here. So silver for me, way cleaner than gold. In my opinion, gold has just been kind of dancing around order flow since March. And I really have no desire to try to trade it and try to guess what it's doing. Where silver is actually kind of following structure, following, you can clearly see who's in control, where supply is in control from. I know gold gave a same distribution in here, but the difference is silver has broken the low, gold is not, right? If you come over to gold, you'll see that, yeah, so out of the distribution, right, we still have yet to break the low. So, definitely my favorite right now is silver, and I'm going to continue to trade it. If we get any pullbacks, I'll be continuing to sell it off. Yeah, but this was just super clean price action. The distribution, you breaking structure, right? You get the break, price coming back up into the micro, or the I would say the fractal distro that you had in here, creating a micro and then giving you another really clean entry up in here. So super clean price action. I definitely it was a very tedious position because we just lingered forever in here. I mean, it looks like this was a really nice play, but this was, I want to say I've been in this thing for over a week now. Where are we at? Yeah, look at that. We're going on. It's going to be almost 2 weeks that this thing's been active. So, you know what? I don't even know what's the, hold on. What is, so I didn't trade it on FTMO, I only traded on TPT. Oh, okay, the swap fee's not too ridiculous. Yeah, I've only paid $23 in swap fee. So it ain't nothing to really go crazy about. Do I look at seasonal charts for gold or silver? No, I don't. Yeah. I guess here's my question, right? And I know, nothing against people that trade seasonality. But I guess let me ask you the question, it would be this. If, let's say the last 10-year average silver shorts in the fourth quarter of the year, what does that have to do with what's going on fundamentally right now in the United States, right? 10 years ago, we had a totally different fundamental climate than we do right now. So, what is, and let me ask you this. So for anybody, and if you know it, throw it in the chat, but what are metals mainly used for? So investment opportunities in metals is mainly used for what? They're safe havens, but why? Like, what are they, so think not so much for like traders like us, but think about investment firms. What do investment firms use for? Yeah, there you go. Hedge for inflation. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, you would think, and this is why I'm personally not trading gold, because out of all the metals, right? Gold, silver, palladium, platinum. I mean, you've got all these metals, right? Out of all the metals, gold is the most voluminous metal, right? There's more volume traded in gold than any other metal. So when investment firms need to hedge against inflation, hedge essentially their investments that they're holding there, may potentially in drawdown, what are they going to do? They're going to invest in gold. So if you've got more money coming into gold, what's that mean? That means that we're going to potentially see gold rise. Now, that doesn't necessarily translate to silver rising, right? Because if they're not investing in silver, then I don't need to worry about it. And when we look at the chart, right? So this is where, like, looking at the technicals and looking at the fundamentals, you kind of have to have a good idea of what the two are doing. When we look at what's going on here, let me just hide all the drawings here. When you look at what's going on here, right? I mean, this is showing weakness, right? So the technicals are telling me that silver's coming down. Yet when we look over here at gold, I mean, realistically, this is where we're caught, right? This for me is maintaining this leg. And since March, we've just been sideways. So you would think that more funds, especially to cover right? And this is what happened when we hit all-time highs, right? When price came in here, when we saw this massive drop right here, this massive drop was profit taken, right? There was a bunch of hedge funds, a bunch of firms in the United States that were getting margin called on some of their other investments that they needed to sell their gold assets and essentially cost dollar average down on most of their investments so they can have available margin. Yeah, exactly. Lots of silver and Tomahawk missiles. Yeah. I mean, silver's in everything. Silver's in the medical community. Silver's in everything. But I still believe. I mean, listen, long term. I mean, you guys. I mean, I've shown this chart a long time. I'm physically buying more silver when we get down into like the $15 to $17 range. Because I'm bullish as can be on this. However, I still understand that from a market cycle perspective, this is our accumulation. This distribution in the making, right? This distribution here is potentially going to be a reaccumulation once we do something like that. And for me, from an investment side, right? I mean, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm investing in silver, not gold. Why? Because let's just say we can get it down to $16. To get to an all-time high, we're talking about a 200% increase, right? 208% increase to get to all-time highs. When you look at gold, right? When you look at gold in comparison, we made an all-time high, right? And even if we can get down, let's say we can get down into the middle of this weekly candle, like the 1550s is where I've been looking. I mean, to an all-time high, that's only 34%, So if I bought $1,000 worth of silver, right, I can get a 208% ROI on it. If I got $1,000 worth of gold, I'd only be looking at a 34%. So for me, silver is where I'm going to be putting my money. Silver is definitely where I'm going to be investing once we get into some more discounted pricing. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so that's pretty much everything I'm holding. Now, everything I'm looking at, it's been just a continuation play from, we're looking ACAD, we're bearish on NZD CAD, bearish on ACAD. One of the first areas that I'm going to be paying attention to is going to be out of essentially this area right here, right? You could see just from an order flow perspective, this is the leg, right? This is our order flow leg. Yes, I know that this is the high, right? But this is going to be the first area. If we trade up into like the 9,200 area, this is where I'm going to be looking to see if we can get a distribution. You can already kind of see an attempt at an accumulation. Maybe we get price walking itself up, we distribute here, send it down. This ends up turning into a redistribution. Again, another continuation play, right? Just like this was, just looking for the continuation plays. So I'm still bearish on ACAD. There's no reason for me not to be bearish on this. I mean, this thing is, you could just see it's just evenly walking itself down. Ever since price came into this entry here, I mean, we've seen it make a new low. We've seen it come back, distribute out of supply, make a new low. So I'll be continuing to, follow suit with it. And the first area I'm going to be looking is around that 9,200 level, right? Looked at it this morning, and this is, this is specifically where I want to look, right in here. It's that move right there that I want to play out of. So when we look at, this is the Frankfurt Open all the way into London, this is the push. This is what ultimately causes that big drop. So I want us to come back and mitigate out of here, right? That's where I'm going to be looking. Yeah. So ACAD, I'm still bearish on it. I'm going to be waiting for it. We're not too far off in the distance on it. And, keep in mind, Canadian news this week, Canadian NFP, potentially we're going to see some really good volatility. Personally, I'd like to be in a position on ACAD before Friday. just because I don't want to get caught trying to play into a position on it going into the last day of the week. Yeah. Could I get my settings for sessions? I don't really use the sessions on the chart, but I'll show you. Here's like this, the timing that I use here. So, well, all right, I guess that's a little confusing. So for me, 2000 hours or 8 p.m. is what I have as my start of Asian session. And I take it to 2 p.m. I'm sorry, to 2 a.m. Eastern time, right? Because 2 a.m. Eastern. So from 2 to 3 a.m. is my gray box. And that's the Frankfurt, that's my Frankfurt price action. And then of course at 3 a.m. for me is London, because I am in the Eastern time zone. So whatever time zone you are in down here, you know, that's no matter where you are, 8 p.m. is Asian is Asian open, right? So depending on, you know, whatever time that is for you, just have that correlate. But yeah, so I have Asian price action from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Then from 2 to 3, I have my gray box, which just highlights my Frankfurt open. And then for people that don't like, I know Yuri loves this stuff, bro. Yuri loves having his charts all colored, but I activate high and low, and that way you only have the high and low of the candles, not your entire chart. All right, so yeah, there we go. Yep, you got it. So yeah, on ACAD, this is the first area I'm going to be looking, and just keep in mind where we are. You know, structure is essentially still, this is structure up here, right? This is your leg within structure, right? So, you know, could we come higher than this? I mean, we can, absolutely, you know, but this is the first area I'm going to be looking for those sells. Okay. On AJ, so all the JPY crosses gave some really nice pullbacks last week, which was phenomenal because I've been waiting on these for a while. So blue box here is where I wanted us to come back to, right? You can kind of see what we've done. You know, for me, this was our first break of order flow. And then from there, you can, you know, ultimately see that we've made a new high, right? So this is maintaining my intraday structure. All right. This is my leg. This is my slingshot. All right. So anywhere in this area is where I'm going to be looking for evidence of buying. And you can kind of see already, you know, we've got 3 drives. So right here, here's your trading range, right? So I've got an SC to an AR to another test to a UA into another test, right? So now it's just dependent upon what we're going to do. You know, I ideally would love to see one more drive, take out this low, break the high. You know, when we come into here, I'll be looking lower time frame for a potential lower time frame accumulation to get in early on it. And if it doesn't give it to me, then I'll wait for the BOS, right? We get the BOS and I'll be taking my entry out of the test of the spring, right? So that's how I'm going to play AJ. Now, you know, so right now, I thought I had this. I thought I had it marked out. Hold on. Yeah. So this is kind of what I'm waiting on. So right now we are in an accumulation. It's just, it is very early. We're still in phase B of it. So I'm not going to be in a rush to try to do anything with it. And you can kind of see that from just a timing perspective, this has taken, you know, a good almost 24 hours to develop. So potentially something into late London, into New York session tomorrow is where we would be potentially looking for some kind of confirmations to take an entry on this, right? So that's how I've marked, you know, that's for me, my trading range. And now it's just going to be confirmations. So if this ends up just being a type 2, right? So let's just say hypothetically we get, so we know that this was an attempt at an accumulation, right? So what do we have? We have a redistro, right? So this is our redistribution. All right. So if it's a redistribution, what do we know? What do we know about what is resting here? What do you guys think? Supply. Yep. Absolutely. Good job, bro. Absolutely. Right. And how do we know? Well, because it created a new low, right? Exactly. Sellers, right? Sellers are present there. So if this ends up being just a, so if this reaccumulation here ends up causing this break, right? And we invalidate supply, well, now we have a type 2 accumulation, right? So this will be my STB, and I'll be looking then for an LPS entry, right? I'll be looking for price to then, if this is in fact the reaccumulation that sends it up and breaks it, this would be my SC, and then I'd be looking in this lower time frame accumulation down here for a potential re-entry as well, right? So, whether or not it's still too early, like I personally would just have, at this point, I'd box it out. So I would have a limit order, or not a limit order, I'd have an alert that would say supply invalidated here, right? Because this is our redistro. Bear with me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Bear with me. Hold on, guys. Sorry. So we have a redistro, right? Here's your, there's your ICE. So what I would want to see is, what I would want to see is, if this is going to be a type 2, I want it to break that high. And if it does, right, like I said, if it does break that high out of this type 2 here, I'd want to see if this is the reaccumulation that does that. That's where I want to play it. Or I'd be looking to play out of something down here. And just looking at it, I mean, you can come down in here, and there's your accumulation, right? Here's your accumulation right here. So, potentially something out of this move right here that happens during the New York session. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, I'm going to box it out. I've got the alert up on top, and I'll put an alert at the bottom. That's essentially just going to tell me that we got the spring. And then just let the alerts play themselves. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on. And, where would I be looking to take this? Well, I mean, obviously I'm going to be looking to take it to a new high. We've broken structure. So the potential for this is, from current price action, I mean, we're looking at 545 pips, to make a new high. So I'll be continuing to look for that play. It's just a matter of just being patient with it, So, right now, currently on the short side, right, lower time frame, sellers are in control. All right. But don't lose, don't get the tunnel vision of just sitting at the 15-minute chart. By every account, we are bullish. Okay. So that's what I'm waiting on AJ. AU, I really don't have much to do with AU right now. Hold on for 1 second. Yeah, NJ is the same thing. NJ and AJ are the same for me. On AU, I know, I don't know who was on this morning. I know a couple of people wanted to play this accumulation, right? Because they saw this break. But for me, just remember, this arrow represents a break in structure. So at this point, AU is bearish. I'm not going to be playing an accumulation just because the accumulation's there. It has to be what's going on to the left. Nope, I haven't gone over GN yet. No, I haven't. Yeah, but NJ, yeah, because we talked about AJ. NJ is the same thing. We You know, where I wanted us to play was into this reaccumulation because we broke this high, right? This is our intraday leg. This is my slingshot. We're right there. And it's just a matter now of just waiting it out. You know, you have the same redistribution, right? We have the same redistro here. Now this accumulation, definitely nothing as clean as AU's is, or I'm sorry, AJ's is. So, you know, I will leverage both of them, right? You can use comparable strength between AJ and NJ because they're benchmarks against each other. But price action wise, AJ looks 10 times cleaner, right? So if it's not clean, I'm not going to trade it, you know, and I would need to see some really put together price action that allows me to say, okay, I'm going to take this. So yeah. Yep. Yeah. But now I'll tell you this, right? And this is where you would use it. So maybe this price action isn't clean, but what if we get the break, right, on NJ and we don't get the break on AJ, but yet AJ then comes down and plays into that schematic? Well, I'll give AJ a go, right? As long as I can get an accumulation on AJ, you know, so something to the effect of, let's go 15, there we go. So something to the effect of this, right? Like if NJ takes out this high, right? There you go. If NJ takes out that high, but AJ comes here and doesn't break the high, right? But we do get price to come back down. And inside of the area I'm looking, we get an accumulation because NJ is showing strength. NJ would be the leader, right? AJ would be the laggard. So because we're getting that divergence between the two, I'll give AJ a look on it as long as it meets the confirmations for me to take that entry. Okay. So yeah. Can we go over CADJ? Yeah, it's on the list, man. It's on the list. So yeah, absolutely. CAD Chef. So going with CAD Chef, if you guys were on last week, you know that I was looking for price. I was looking for price to come back into this distribution up here. You know, we had a really, really clean, super clean distro up here. And unfortunately, price never came back to give me my entry. So it was a 2.5 pip stop, man. The thing never came back. And what do? We came and we distributed, right? We distributed and made a new order flow low, right? So when we did this and we broke this low, that's it. You know, there was nothing for me more to play out of this. This is done. So I'll continue to look for the CAD Chef sells. You know, it is a bummer, man, because this thing has moved from where we were looking, right? We were looking here. So from this move, I mean, price has moved 250 pips in 2 weeks. It's done it without me. So we have a redistribution. Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it never gave anything. And even out of this price action, like you go back, I mean, I've back tested this a couple of times. And there's just no way for us to have gotten into this trade, you know, absolutely no way. Even if you want to say you would have played this distro and you would have taken this entry happens at about 6:15 p.m. Eastern time, which is changeover. And I guarantee you the spread, most of you guys know about the spread at changeover. The spread would have gone from 1 pip to like 8 pips. And yeah, you would have been taken out. So there was just no way to get into this play. You know, I mean, the distro's there. You know, you can say from a higher time frame, this is your trading range. You know, you have your 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. You can even say it from a smaller time frame. Like I said, here's your distro. You know, you have your 1, 2, 3 UTAD break, right? And then this is your test right here. But it just happened. It happened at the worst possible time. So there was no entry out of it for me. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So for me, now, this is the area I want to see us come back into. I've got my alert sitting right here. And if we trade back, and the area I'm really kind of looking at is this area right here. So because this on itself is a distribution, right? It's not a very pretty distribution, but it is a distribution, right? So you have your 1, 2, 3, 4 drives, right? Here's your trading range. You do have 4 drives in that, and then you do have the break. So if we come back into this area here, I'll be looking, but I mean that's not going to happen this week. I'll tell you right now, that's going to take some time for CAD Chef to trade back up into that area. And CAD Chef on itself doesn't move very quickly. So, I mean, maybe on Friday we'll get maybe a little help with some Canadian news. But I'm not going to hold my breath on it, but if we do come back into this area all day long, this area right here is where I'm going to be looking. And, for targets, just look at what we're doing. I immediately, this is going to be my first target once we get here to make this low. And then I want to see us, if you get up to the higher time frame, I want to see us get past, deep into, what you got to ask yourself, what did this reaccumulation do? Absolutely nothing, right? All it did was just trade us back into this massive area of supply. So long term, right? Long term, I'm expecting to break this low. That's what I want to see happen. Do I have structure as bullish on lower time frame? Structure as bullish. You're talking about because of this? Hold on. So are you saying because of that break right there? So here's what I would, let's look at it like this, right? Hold on. There we go. So, and I want you to follow with this. And this is why, in my opinion, highs and lows don't really mean anything, right? So we have price come over here, trade into supply, right? Into higher time frame supply. We have a distribution, right? That distribution ends up invalidating demand, right? We come back and we distribute out of prior supply. And order flow, right? This is all order flow, but we know that this area here is supply, right? So supply does what? Supply makes a new low, right? Sends this down. What kind of price action do we see here? What is that? What do you guys think? Yep, it is an ugly attempt at an accumulation, but it still is an accumulation, right? And it's evidence of buying, right? Because you have 1, 2, 3 drives, you have a reaccumulation, right? Yes, we do make a new high, but the question is, do we ever take out supply, right? Do we ever invalidate supply? And the answer for me is no, right? The answer is we come back into supply and we distribute. And now what are we've just been essentially just continuing to move lower. So I'm pretty convinced that we are going to take this low. So yes, we did break this right here, right? But to me, this was just order flow because supply was always in control from here. It's the same equivalent as this, right? If I was going to paint a picture, if you have a distribution, right? And that distribution comes down to this accumulation. And you get this, right? Is this a break of structure? Well, it's a break of structure in the schematic, but we're still bearish from here, right? Yeah. Yep. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. So yeah, CAD Chef, I'm still just going to be patiently waiting on this sucker. It sucks. I'll tell you, like I've been following, well, yeah, we've been following this thing since October, right? I mean, we never got this entry here, right? We never got the mitigation of that. Never, we wanted price to come back into here, missed the entry. I had it out of here. Then I wanted price to come back in here, never got that. So CAD Chef has just been, the last 2 months has just been falling through my fingers, so it is what it is. You just got to keep tracking it. Would you look at a buy up to CAD Chef? So where would you buy from? Yeah, but it's not just it's not a matter of clean accumulation. It's got to be out of a clean target area, right? Because we can go back, let's look at these poor folks that have been trying to buy Euro GBP, right? Hold on. Let's think about everybody that's been trying to buy Euro GBP this year out of clean schematics, right? These poor folks here that got clapped. These poor folks here that got clapped. These poor folks, these guys, 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 right? What about these poor people right here that, caught a little glimpse of it, but then got clapped. And then you had the accumulation, right? For me, yeah, like I'm not going to call the bottom, if there's a logical area. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's for me, it's not worth it. If I'm going to buy CAD Chef, right? If I was looking for a buy out of it, we should not have traded below here, right? So when price came into this would have been an opportunity for a hedge. But unless I'm in the sell, I'm not going to chance the buy, right? So, there's no reason for me to look for the buy on it. Because what is my reasoning that price is going to turn around here? You know what I mean? So, we could just continue lower. We can make this low here and then go higher. So, just always remember, you should always have a buy area and always have a sell area on your chart. Where are you going to buy from? Where are you going to sell from? So, for me, if we get down into this area here, this is where I'm going to buy from. This is where I'll hedge out of, but I need to make sure that I'm in the sell. Yeah, no, it does. It does. And the problem with CAD Chef is, even if you wanted to try to get in just with a horrible stop loss, I mean, you're not going to be able to. I mean, you're talking like some of these trades are like 12, 15 pip stop losses. So yeah, so that's CAD Chef. Now CAD J, right? CAD J, on the other hand, is actually coming into a really nice area, right? This is the area. This is my first area that I want to target right here. This is the slingshot that breaks lower time frame. This is essentially the move that causes intraday structure break. This is what I really wanted to get into, right? So hold on, let me clean this up. There we go. This is what I want to get into. I know this morning a couple of people were looking at buys, and it actually played out pretty nicely. The only thing for me, so we're in a logical area, right? We had London price action here given accumulation. The only thing that drew me away from taking this entry was the fact that we did not take out supply. Right? We did not take out supply. We came right here and didn't break it. Had we broken it, I would have played out of this, right? I would have played out of this. And it actually did come in there. I know a couple of guys did take the trade. And exactly what I was looking at was this. I said that, well, if we take the high, right, and we reaccumulate, which we did, I will play out of the reaccumulation. So, you can kind of see, this is the last push, right? This is that last shakeout that ends up coming back to mitigate and then making a new high. We come into 80% of it, but this afternoon when I was looking at it, it just didn't give me an entry. Even coming down on the seconds time frame, I mean, I was waiting for it. You could see it, like it is an accumulation, but it's only a type 2 accumulation. Nothing that I wanted to play out of. You have essentially, here's your trading range. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drives, but nothing that I wanted to really give it a go on. We broke on the line chart on CAD-J. You mean back over there? Yeah, but depending on what chart you looked at, I mean, on the 1 minute, yeah, you broke, but I'm not playing. I'll tell you right now, on a Tuesday, I'm not playing a line chart break, and if you come up, I mean, I don't know, did we break on higher time frame? No, I mean, we didn't break on anything higher. I mean, look at the 5-minute chart. Yeah, on the 5-minute chart, we didn't break. Yeah, only on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, only on this 1 minute. On the 5-minute, we didn't. Yeah, you can see here on the 5-minute, we didn't. So yeah, not something I was going to take. I mean, for those that took it, great, but I'm not on a Tuesday. I'm not going to take it. But anyway, out of this schematic, I was waiting on it. If it would have given me an entry, I would have taken it, but it didn't. So now, what I want to see is, I want to see us make a new high, right? And I want to see a play back into this price action. If we get an accumulation, great. Now, I'm also looking at it like this, right? We could be SC, ST, ST, and we could still get a spring. So if we get a spring, great, I'll play it. But if not, listen, I'm bullish on CAD-J. So, I mean, I don't need much to get me to do anything. Ideally, if we don't get a spring, I'm waiting for us to trade above this high, right? Trade above this high, and then on the pullbacks is where I'm going to be looking for the continuation up. But I need us to invalidate supply. Yeah. On which time frame do I want to see a break of structure? I don't know. I mean, that's I don't. The number here doesn't matter. Yeah, the number here doesn't matter, because we could break on a 1 minute, and we could break on a 5-minute, or we can break on an hour, and it's still the same leg. This is the high that I want to see us invalidate supply. This is the redistribution. This is what's maintaining this low. So absent a type 1 accumulation out of here, I'm going to wait for us to invalidate supply, if that makes sense. Could you show an example of a type 2? Yeah, this right here. There you go. That's a type 2. So, or you can be a minimum of 3 drives. It just needs a minimum of 3 drives. So essentially, it's a non-type 1, something that doesn't have a spring. So yeah. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, CAD-J for right now, it's kind of just sit on my hands. For everybody that got into it today, good job with it. I just, for a Tuesday, I'm not willing to put too much risk on a Tuesday for a maybe. It's not worth the risk to reward for me. But you can see evidence of reaccumulation, and like I said, I want to see, at minimum, I want to see this high get taken here, and then if we come back down in here, I'll be looking for an accumulation to continue the order flow, because that's essentially what we're playing here, is just order flow. But we're playing order flow in bullish structure. Okay. So, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. CAD-J. EN, I don't know if Mahi's on here. I think he might be in bed, but I know he took a sell on EN. Oh geez, bro, this thing is, yeah. I'm glad I didn't get into this. So EN, I'm looking for the sells. We came back into some really good price action, right? Obviously this is my lower time frame structure, right? This is also intraday SC. I wanted to start looking in this area here for sells. Me personally, like when you look at it, this is an ugly distribution. This to me is not anything I wanted to play out of, right? I know some guys, some of the guys took it out of this redistribution here. So just playing order flow. You could see the attempted accumulation. There's your creek. This was the break. And if I remember, I know this is where they got filled, but I don't know if they took it out of 80% of this or if they took out of the whole move. But yeah, they got filled here. Obviously, as soon as price broke here, it was a quick little go break even. But man, yeah, this thing is just sideways. NZD Chef. What about NZD Chef, bro? Yeah. No, for me, nothing's clean yet. Nothing's clean. Will you go through EU and GU? Yeah, man, you're about an hour late. Yeah, EU and GU was one of the first ones we did. I'm bearish on the both of them, so I'm just waiting for selling opportunities. Do I have anything on it? On NZD Chef? I don't think so, man. Yeah, I mean, we broke lower time frame structure, and at this point, I'm pretty convinced. I guess I'm waiting for this break right here. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. So I'm waiting for that break right there, and then I'll be looking for price to come back up to sell. So am I bearish? Yeah, I'm bearish on EN. Yeah. No, GN way cleaner. GN is way cleaner. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, just look at, so am I bearish on GN? Well, let me ask you, look at this chart. Are you not bearish on this? Like when we here, let me hide the drawings for a second. So who's in control? You know, are sellers or are buyers in control? And for me, this massive distribution here that pushes in this low is what's maintaining the leg. And this is the redistribution or the slingshot that creates that break. So for me, yeah, I mean, this thing's been bearish since March 2020, right? Ever since we saw that spike and we saw this big just push down, this thing's been bearish. So yeah, for me, I'm bearish on this. And yeah, like I said, nothing clean on it, but GN definitely cleaner. Yeah. Can you explain cause and effect? You know, do you understand, like, well, I mean, I guess the easiest thing is just ask yourself, what did that price action do? Yeah. What did price action do? If it did something, great. If it didn't do anything, that's not important. All right. So GA, and this is going to be for me, like GA and GN are going to be tough because I have two separate analysis. You know, like on GN, I am bearish on it. On GA, I am bullish on it. And that's the dilemma that I'm kind of facing. So, you know, right now, GA is still following structure, right? From an intraday perspective. Because when we look at GA, right, this accumulation down here is essentially what started this entire leg, right? So for me, it's going to be one of those where does GA end up distributing here and making a new low? And if it does, great, because then it'll kind of bring everything back into alignment. So I'm essentially just going to be waiting and seeing what GA does. You know, we have, and you could see the order flow, right? I mean, we have a reaccumulation here. We have just this horrible price action that's going on here. Nothing clean about this price action, but if you go over to GN, you have a very, very clean distribution, right? Very clean distribution. So this morning, I wanted us to break structure, right? I wanted us to break this low, which we did, right? You've got your clean distro. This is your UTAD. And what I wanted to see now, there's two things that I wanted to see. The first is this. So we had some news this morning. Let me go 5 minutes. So you can see this was the low and we break the low. and then the news spikes back up, right? Whatever BS news it wasn't anything important, but it was enough to give GN a 100 pip spike. And you know what? Before I say anything, I actually never looked to see if this was valid. Hold on. Did anyone look to see if what actually happened in here? Oh, yeah. There's tons of orders, bro. Son of a gun. Yep. All right. Never mind. It's valid. Yeah. So did I go over UCAD? No, I didn't. So anyway, so when we measure the entire move, right? When we measure this entire move, all right, you could see we traded past 50% in this move right here. So we don't necessarily need to come all the way up here, right? This could have been the mitigation. And when we look at, and that's why my alert is down here. But when we look at, okay, so where did price actually come into? When we kind of figure out, like, okay, so what happened in here, right? We have Asian price action. We have Frankfurt kind of dancing around, a little accumulation. We have London that gives just this hideous looking distribution, but the distribution does take out Asian highs, and we do push in a new low, right? So out of this price action, right, what do we see? We see a redistribution. So this move right here, so we're talking maybe like a 10-minute candle. What is that? 10, let's see. Even that 17-minute. Yeah, even the 17-minute wouldn't be too bad. So this was 80%, and this is 50% of the 17. Where's that line up with the 13? So this is the 13. And then what was the 9? Yeah. All right. So we'll go with the 17. But seeing that as the redistribution, right? You know, you figure price has got to come back into one of these points right here. And where does that BS news come back into? I mean, smack dab right into it. You know, it misses that 80%, but I'm guessing it came into that 13-minute candle. So for me, this wick is going to be my first target, right? This price action right in here is going to be my first area that I'm going to be paying attention to. And I'll be looking for price to trade into that and give me a distribution of some sort. You know, this is what I want to see, specifically like this last push right here. Yeah. So if I get a distro here in GN, I'll take it. And if not, you know, I'll be looking up at this upper area here, right? But we have, like I said, I mean, this is a pretty clean distro, right? This is a pretty clean distro. So I'll be continuing to watch it, you know, seeing what we get tomorrow. You know, again, not trying to force it, and just seeing how we can get in. I mean, I know, what was it, like I think the 45-minute candle is your Frankfurt candle, right? But I mean, that candle is massive, even all 50%, right? 50% is like 30 pips. Yeah, 30, 31, 32 pips. So yeah, I'll be sitting here. I'll be looking, you know, if we can get in here, right, in this wick, that's where I'll be looking for a continuation play down. But I need a distribution, or if we come up higher, I'll need the distro. So I like GN from there. And then, you know, target wise, you know, what do we do? I mean, it's much like EN. You know, you can see the distro is controlling, right? This is the redistribution, essentially our slingshot. So we're in the right place. You know, this is a logical area to see that distribution. And now it's just a matter of working the entry in, you know, so work that entry in, you know, and then, you know, targets, I mean, all day long, I'm looking to target a new low. right? I mean, that's ultimately where I'm going to be going with it. So hold on, give me one sec, guys. Hold on. Okay. All right, cool. Sorry. I gotta put my jacket on. So that is GN. GJ, one of them that I missed. So GJ, super bullish on this. We've come into the right area. It actually gave, so here we go. And this is something I was talking to a bunch of the guys this morning about, right? I was not. So this price action in here doesn't give me a lot of confidence that buying is happening, right? One of the things I'll tell you to do is just go back and back test some of this price action like this. When you see, so this to me was my SC, it's in my AR, okay? This, not a secondary test. This, not a secondary test. This, not a secondary test, right? This isn't showing evidence of buying happening at a demand level, right? What it's showing me is essentially sellers filling sell orders. And then we come back down. And now this is my secondary test. And here we see evidence of buying because we come back and we test the top of the range, right? So potentially we have, well, it's not a UA, but potentially we have price giving that. And then we have one more push, right? So now at this point here, I want to see evidence of accumulation, right? So this could be another secondary test. We break the high and now we have our UA, right? Now we have our UA. And then when we get that news, right, this was my spring. So what do I need? You can see I had my alert up here. I just wanted us to break that high. If we would have broken that high, this would have been my STB, this would have been my spring, and I would have been looking for, price action in here to take this higher. But we didn't get that, right? Instead, this kind of just fell apart. And ultimately, I'm still looking for it to come lower, right? What do I have identified? Yeah. So I've got this 6-minute candle down in here out of this accumulation, which happened in Frankfurt, that I'm looking for price to come down to. But nothing about this price action told me, just look at it from the 1 hour, right? Where we were coming into New York. Let's do it like this. Where we were coming into New York. Does this price action tell you that it's ready to go yet? And for me, the answer is no, right? The answer is no. I mean, especially since we've been validated that accumulation there. So now you've got 1, 2, 3 drives. That's it. Okay. But I'm still bullish on GJ. I'm just waiting. A couple of things need to happen for me to really start diving into buys on this. Actually, I'm going to move it up here. So if we come lower, I'll be waiting for some schematics to play out. And of course, if we invalidate this redistribution, and we come back, I'll be looking for mitigation plays to take this sucker higher. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on GJ. We did GN, we did NJ, NU and AU, same thing. Like I'm not trying to play anything out of them currently. On UCAD, so on UCAD, so I'm looking for buys on UCAD, right? Nothing about price action here is really telling me definitively much. I wanted us to come back into here. We didn't, and we fell short. We played into this reaccumulation here. And then from there, it's just been eluding us. I've been trying, you can see, I have been trying to get plays. This was one of the key areas I wanted us to come back into. We never did. Looking again back in here, we never did. So at this point, like UCAD is just kind of sitting on itself. It does look like it reaccumulated here. So hold on. What do we do today? And I know a lot of people have been trying to sell this, right? But you know, what's missing from any of this is just weakness. We're not getting any weakness. So there's no point in me trying to sell UCAD, especially since we're in the short term, right? We're being controlled by demand. So yeah, I mean, this was some of that Canadian news and US dollar news that came out today. You know, for me, when I look at the chart, where am I buying from? Nothing's changed. You know, I'm going to be looking for a buy out of this area here, right? Down in this area is where I'm going to be looking for buys. Where am I looking for sells? I probably won't be looking for sells until we trade higher than this. Yeah, I mean, realistically, you know, we're going to come up into this price action. That's where I see UCAD coming into. You know, until the US dollar really starts to straighten itself out, and I don't see that happening until we get. I don't see that happening until we either get a complete distro here and then come lower, or we're coming here. So that's where, you know, on the US dollar, that's where we're coming. You know, we're either going to distribute out of this area here, which, you know, as of right now, we're very early in it, or we're coming up to here. So I'm still seeing UCAD coming higher. You know, and on the Canadian side, when we look at, you know, oil, I mean, this was just ridiculous. You know, we saw the distribution. Am I bearish on oil? Heck no, right? I mean, I'm expecting this to continue to go to continue to skyrocket. You know, there's nothing on the horizon, you know, that's going to get oil to be bearish. And I mean, realistically, all we did, we just traded into this price action. So here was my alert. I wanted to see what we did when we got in here, but you know, tomorrow I'll see if this gives us any reason. That may give us a little Canadian strength on UCAD, which will give us a pullback for me to look for those buys. Yeah, but on UCAD, I mean, and this isn't, I'll tell you right now, UCAD is not like in the top 5 or 6 pairs that I'm looking at, because essentially I'm playing order flow on UCAD. When your POI is on a higher time frame, what lower time frame schematic is most probable to play out for you? There's no answer for that. You know, I'm sure there's a bunch of people on here that could tell you that an intraday 4-hour, 8-hour daily point of interest has had a 1-hour schematic play out, has had a 5-minute schematic play out, has had a 5-second schematic play out. So yeah, I just need, I'll go lower time frame. When we come into the point of interest, that's where I go lower time frame. And you know, if it's a 1-minute schematic, so be it. If it's a 15-minute schematic, then so be it. I'm not, yeah, there's nothing, there's no time frame that I have journaled and back tested that is like the holy grail of, you know, finding that complete confirmation. So it's just a matter of just watching price action in that area. So yeah, UCAD, not, like I said, not anywhere on the top of my list. Now UCHEF, you know, UCHEF, unfortunately, this order never got filled. And what we've done is we've made a new high, right? So I've got my eyes set down here. If we do come into this price action here and accumulate, I'll be looking to long this. And if we don't, if we come lower, I do have a limit. I think it's like, yeah, it's off the 14-minute, but I would just say go down into this price action and give her a look. You'll see a really clean schematic in here. This is where I'll be playing. So, and I like I said, the 14-minute is where I'm looking, if we come down there. Yeah, it'll be uploaded later. Do you always wait for a schematic to form? No, I'll set a limit. Like in this case here on US dollar Swiss franc, I've got a limit here. This is lower time frame structure. Yeah. So I don't necessarily need us always to form a schematic, but I'll tell you right now, the schematic will always keep you out of a bad trade. Yeah. So, I mean, if you don't have this schematic on the 1 minute, I would probably suggest going back and marking it out just in case. We tried, I remember trying to get in here and we worked some entries in and eventually just came back break even and took a small loss on one of the orders. But then we had right at changeover, we had price come in. And then right after Asian, that Frankfurt's schematic really played out. And this is what ultimately caused all of this move. So this is ideally where I'm going to want to see us play out of, if we can get down there. If we don't get down there, I mean, this is all just a bunch of hoopla right here. So I'm not worried about that. I want to see, do we come lower? Do we play into here? If not, I've got my limit order sitting right there. Yeah. Yep, I just did UCAD, bro. So, yeah. So that's US dollars Swiss franc. UJ is another one, right? UJ for me, we broke in order flow. This was the order flow break. And at this point now, I'm going to be looking what we do here, or if we can come down here, because this to me is our leg, right? That's our leg. Yeah. And I know, I'm trying to think here what I've seen a couple people with on UJ charts. Yeah, I mean, I was looking for, an accumulation out of this, but we just never got anything. The main area I'm going to be looking at, this was like an NFP news release. It's within, that structure point that breaks the high. I've got, a 10-minute candle is what I'm looking at. I'm not going to put a limit order on it. I just want to see what we do when we trade in there. If we get the schematic, I'll take it. If not, I still have that limit order set here. Ideally, I want to see if we can come back down into that. But if not, if we just come here, accumulate, this is where I want to play out of. And again, it's out of this NFP candle right here. Yeah, it's out of this NFP candle right here. So this was NFP New York session. So looking for, I'm looking for buys on UCAD. Yeah, I mean, it's just order flow, so it's not on the high of my priority list because we're nowhere near structure on UCAD. So, but this is what I'm going to be looking at. Essentially this candle swept our Asian lows. This was essentially what causes the break of structure. So I want to see what we do when we come back into it. Yeah. So on UJ, it's just going to be patience. You can see, once we broke this order flow here, I'm expecting us just to now trickle down into this area right here and see what we can do. Yeah. And then actually, I think that's it. That's everything I'm looking at. I mean, the big plays for me this week are going to be the majors. I'm looking for if we can get UJ and US dollar Swiss franc to pull back. I'm going to be looking for buys, and like I covered with GU and EU, I'm going to be looking for those selling opportunities. GU especially going to be looking for continuation plays, and EU especially as well. I'm still holding. Geez, where am I holding that one order from? I'm still holding this order from up here. I've taken all the partials I'm going to take now. It's just letting it ride down. Yeah. So like I said, GU, EU, UJ, Swiss, EG is the other one that I'm really going to be focusing in on this week. NZD CAD has a way, so does ACAD, but if they can get up there, great. But the main ones are that, and then the JPY crosses, just giving them time to really develop and get buyers in the market, and then playing the continuation plays. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. Other than that, does anybody else have anything they're looking at or want to take a look at? If not, we'll call it a night. I will say this too, on indices, we are, where's my, all right, well, I thought I had it. We are showing distribution, right? So like we broke this low, here's your distro, here's your UTAD, right? We are showing distribution. Just keep in mind where we are though. Look at it from a leg. Where do we want to take it down to? I'd love to get a buy out of here. I'd love to sell it down, but I need to sell it from here, right? I want to see us trade up and then come down. I posted, when did I post this US 30 trade? Let's see, where is it? Yeah, this, like I've been following this for a while. And if we break this low, we have some huge moves to the downside on US 30. So I'm just kind of waiting to see what we do. I did catch a nice little buy. What did I catch yesterday? I caught a quick little buy on, yeah, here it was right here. No. Yeah, this was yesterday. I caught this nice little buy yesterday on SPX, and as soon as it started distributing, I just closed out. It was like a little 1 to 30. But yeah, I'm looking for the shorts on indices. Today gave absolutely nothing. There was no price action that I wanted to be involved with. Aren't we in daily structure? Daily structure. Where's daily structure? Talk about this right here, the SC. Yeah. One of these charts, I got it marked out. Hold on. Yep, there we go. Yep, this is where I'll be looking for a buying opportunity. Right out of here. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm not committed to long-term sells until we break that low. But yeah, this is like when you look at it, I mean, this is the leg, right? This was the high. This is the low that broke that high. This is the reaccumulation SC that did it. So yeah, I'm watching what we do in here. Absolutely. So if price wicks below that low, if price trades below here, what about it? Yeah, no, I need us to break this low right here. This is the low that I need. If we break that low, then we're in active distribution. Yeah, where is it at? Let's see. There we go. Yep. Yeah, if we break this low right here. Yeah, because this is the low. This is what created our UTAD. So we break this and we'll be in active distribution. Would you consider it a break of structure if price wicks below that low? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. For me, a wick is a break of structure. It's a contract. It takes us, yeah, it takes us out of takes demand out of the market. So, yep. BTC price. What about BTC price? Nothing's changed on my BTC outlook. I mean, I've been saying it for a while. What do we expect? I'm expecting to see relatively soon a 42 to 44,000 BTC or a 30 to 32,000. So yeah. Yeah, my BTC hasn't changed for me. I mean, I'm still bullish on it. Why are you thinking 53? I mean, I already traded, right? Is this not our leg? Is this not the accumulation that created the new high? So this is our leg. So why couldn't we come back to mitigate out of here? You know, and then this is my slingshot, right? This is this accumulation here is what caused that, and it's unmitigated. So why couldn't we come down to 44 to 42,000? You know, I mean, this is structure. Like if we break below here, then BTC's got some issues. Yeah, Ethereum's the same kind of chart. Yeah, Ethereum is the same exact chart. So, I mean, here is your structure point, right? That made the high. This is your reaccumulation. So, I mean, could we see a $3,000, you know, coming into here? Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. I venture to say December. December is when we're going to see the drop. So. Do I trade Litecoin? I don't trade it. I mean, yeah, I mean, I used to margin trade it, but here, the last time I margin traded was, when was this? August 2020. So yeah, I don't mind it. I don't invest in Litecoin. So yeah, I mean, I have, where did I buy Litecoin at? I have a little bit of Litecoin that I think I bought, I guess maybe somewhere in here, maybe around the $40, $60 range that I bought. But for me, it's not something I want to invest heavily in. So yeah, I'm not expecting sub 2000 Ethereum. I am not expecting us to drop below 17. Yeah, I'm not expecting us to go below here. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if we get to a $2,000 Ethereum, game on, man. I'll be dropping some more money in. Yeah, I definitely would be. I'll be happy with that. Not only that, but just the thought of Ethereum doing this, a lot of people will be jumping ship. And just for my mining operations, like I would be making more Ethereum because the hash rate would drop. So, you know, like right now I'm making I mean, it's not much. I'm making 0.1 Ethereum per week is what I'm making on my one rig. So, I mean, if this happened, people would be jumping off of Ethereum and would open up some hash rate for me. So, you know, potentially maybe even I can make 2.2, 0.25. If I can make one whole Ethereum per month, you know, one ETH per month, man, that'd be nice, you know. So yeah, no, I'd love this, you know. And then, I mean, just look at it from, you know, let's just say we get in at the top of this, you know, to an all-time high. I mean, you're already looking at 150% increase, and Ethereum's just going to keep going higher and higher, you know. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, you know, I'm expecting in December, I'm expecting a big red day, you know, like a 15-20% drop across the board. I would, you know, it makes sense for it to happen, both from a fundamental and from a technical standpoint. You know, we need to mitigate the, you know, the price action that's below. You know, December, especially in the US, a lot of people are going to be selling off some assets to pay their tax bill. So that's going to be there. You know, the other thing is, you know, some of these whales want to buy at discounted pricing. So what better way than to take profits on some massive price points and cause a huge 15-20% drop? What's everybody else going to be doing? You know, I mean, you just jump on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. And when you see these, you know, back in May, when we had that big drop, all I saw was the end of crypto, the end of, that's it, crypto's ending. So, and most of you guys know me, that day when that happened, what did I do? I just started pulling out my, cash on hand, and I started buying up a ton of crypto that day. And, those of you guys that jumped in with me are sitting pretty nice right now in profits on a lot of these projects. So yeah, drop caused by what exactly? Anything. Yeah. I mean, back in May, it was China saying for, I think, the 15th time that they're going to be banning mining operations and for BTC in China, yeah, I mean, it could be anything, it could be, the US, the US Treasury Department saying that they're going to be hiring IRS agents to specifically come up with a plan to to tax crypto transactions. Not saying they actually have an idea how they're going to possibly do it, just saying that they're going to be thinking about hiring people to do that. Well, that'll cause a stir, and people, fear will take over, and that'll give us the drop. So I'm hoping for it. I'm ready for it. Yeah. I know it's late. I took a buy on AU today from the 30-minute time frame. Can you explain why the accumulation trade setup failed? Because you're trying to buy a bearish market. On AU, yeah, you're trying to buy a bearish market. Just look what we did, right? This is bearish, right? When we broke this, right? That's it. For me, the buys were done. The buys were done. And this isn't, especially, I mean, other than seeing this break of order flow right here, what was your confirmation to get into the trade? Because a break of order flow in a bearish market, it's one thing if you're bearish and you have a break of order flow in a bearish market to the downside, then take the trade, right? That's why I took the GU sell, right? I took the GU sell because it was a break of order flow to the downside, but we're in a bearish market. On AU, you're trying to buy a bearish market based off of that break right there. Yeah. All right, man. Have a good one. Later, man. Yeah. So that's, I mean, and I know a couple of people I know were actually looking at this buy, and I wanted nothing to do with it, nothing to do with it. Also, for your journal, I would just highly suggest to go back and take a look at what your low was, meaning the yellow box. You were buying out of Asian price action. So, for me, this is a absolutely no. Like, I'm not buying out of Asian price action. So that's what I would tell you. Go back, journal it, make sure you track it. Put in that you're in a bearish market, and you played out of order flow, because that's all that was order flow, and you try to buy out of Asian price action. So yeah. Yep. You're looking to sell AU? Yeah, I mean, AU sells are definitely there. So, but awesome, guys. Well, listen. So this BO's invalidated. This break of structure invalidated reaccumulation on EJ. So this, yeah, for me it did. Yeah, you took out demand. Yep. Yeah, so your buyers in here are done. They're out. So, yep. Yeah, I mean, for me, it is a wick. A wick is a wick. A wick is a contract. A wick is an order. So I know a lot of people don't consider wicks, but to each his own. For me, it is. For me, the wick matters. So, yeah. The boof was your only confirmation. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely go back and just look. I would definitely have a list of confirmations that you need to see. For me, I mean, yeah, I have it's all scenario based. So it's not like I have, like a checklist that I go down. But there has to be, for me to take a buy on AU, I needed more than just a random accumulation in the middle of nowhere, with an accumulation that just caused a boof, right? I mean, we needed to come into some kind of structure point. And on AU, like I said, when you look at your chart, always have a buy and a sell area. And for me, where's my buy area? My buy area on AU is down here, right? That's where I'd be waiting, down in there. That's not going to be this right here. And like I said, for me, the Asian price action immediately puts a big X on this, and I don't care about it. So, but awesome. Yep. Wait, so how come you didn't have an extreme buy limit order on this on UJ? Because it's order flow. Yeah, my limit order is at the structure point. My limit order is down here. That's my limit order. Yeah, this is just order flow. Yeah, this is just order flow. Yep. Yeah. This is just order flow. Like when you look at it here, hold on. So when we broke this high, this is the accumulation that caused it. This is the reaccumulation. This is a reaccumulation. This is a reaccumulation. Reaccumulations aren't structure points, all right? They're continuation moves. So this, for me, is what's maintaining my leg. Yeah. You would need lower time frame schematic to take a buy. Yeah. And I was looking at a buy. I was looking at a buy out of here, but it just never gave us anything. It never gave us a schematic. I think I was looking, where was I looking? I was looking, yeah. So I was looking here. I wanted to see if this schematic was going to play out, give us a spring break, never broke. And then, yeah, you can kind of see, I mean, there's nothing in here. There's absolutely no price action in here to tell me, look at this price action, look at this price action, look at this price action. You know what that tells me? Look at this price action. No volume in the candles, tells me no interest. This is just sideways. So yeah. Yep. Awesome. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you for hopping on. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be in the chats later on and stuff. Just remember NFP week, fourth quarter. I know a lot of people always ask me like, what's price action like in December? I mean, I can't tell you exactly what it's going to be like because I've never traded a December where most of the world is experiencing inflation, where most of the world is experiencing another COVID, whatever, Omicron, transformer, variant. I can't tell you another time. I've never traded in a time where we have such a supply chain issue. So I have no idea, I can tell you I've had a really great year. I mean, most of you guys know, I mean, I made it a point last year and I'll keep reiterating this. You guys can go back and look at last December's and last January's Zoom calls that, we did. And I told everybody that I was going to stop counter trend trading because my journal told me to stop counter trend trading. And, I'll tell you, when I finalize my journal this year, it's going to tell me, because I know already, I've looked at the data, that I made the right decision. I took less trades this year. I made more profits this year. I spent less time on the charts this year, and it, it translated into just, less risk, more profit. So another thing, I know a lot of you guys have messaged me in the last couple of weeks that, you guys have passed, and I've seen a bunch of you guys passing your challenges and verifications, you're funded traders, man, congrats. The hard work definitely was worth it. I know you understand that. And for those of you guys that, that's your goal, I'll tell you the commonality or the key, right, to getting to that point is honestly dedicating your time to being consistent and to understanding, you know, like I tell, you know, it's not a secret. What is my secret to my profitability? It's my back testing and my journaling, right? My back testing, you know, teaches me to be patient. My journaling teaches me to be consistent. And for those of you guys that have past challenges, that have seen consistency, you know, hopefully you guys can attest that, you know, learning to properly journal, learning to properly back test and understand what price is doing, you know, it becomes super simple to trade once you have that understanding, you know. So but yeah, let's see, hold on. Awesome. Yeah, cool. Would you wait for January to take a prop trading evaluation challenge? Man, I don't know, Ray. Like I'll tell you, do I think December is going to be a horrible month? I don't think so. I mean, just remember this, right? I don't know every prop challenge, right? But I know the majority of them, the ones I trade for, right? FTMO and TPT, you know, you finish in profit, you get a free redo. So, I mean, do I think you can make $1 profit on your prop trading challenge or your FTMO challenge in December? Yeah. You know, so do it. You know, I mean, even if you don't pass it, as long as you finish with profit, you're going to get the redo, you know. And if you start to see the market just being stupid, you know, and you're up 400, 500 bucks and you're like, you know what, I'm going to take the last week and a half off of December. I'm going to enjoy Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you're doing. And you're like, you know what, I'll pick it back up in January, then do it. You know, you're going to get your free challenge, you know. So, I mean, that's how I would just play it out. So how often do I do what? Do I do a Zoom call? Yeah, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. unless I'm in volleyball season. So volleyball season kind of throws a little wrench into all of that. So, but awesome, guys. Listen, thank you for hopping on. I am going to go relax and kind of get ready for tomorrow. So have a good one. Enjoy. Is your journaling only done on Trello or do you journal on paper as well? So I use Excel. I use Excel as my journal, and I mean, I don't know, like I get into the weeds on it. So the actual journal, yeah, like it's on my Excel spreadsheet, but I keep an actual, like for every pair I have, I keep like almost like a diary, if you will, like when you were a little like teenager or something like that. Or, you know, like I have a Word document. It's actually my, what's it called? My notes app on my computer that I keep track of all of that. So yeah, I mean, I definitely, I can tell you this, organization is a must. You got to be organized, you know, and for those of you guys that have seen consistency and have seen, you know, not only that, but like just stress-free trading comes from organization. So yeah, but awesome, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy. I will see everybody later.